नमस्कार. Sarvena pranamaha. I take advantage of speaking in English for the reason being your poster displayed is also in English, and the names of all panel members on the TV screen, on the laptop screen is also in English. So I also take this advantage and apology that I may not be able to speak in Sanskrit as Professor Madhavanji spoke. With all this apology, I start my inaugural speech. Respected Pandit Ratnam Professor Madhavanji, the keynote speaker of this national webinar, Sri G.K. Suresh Babu, organizing committee of Vidvat Parishat Vishwa Sanskrit Pratishthanam, Samskrita Bharati Kerala, my friend Professor Shine, who is the chairman of SRC and NCT, academicians, educationists, researchers, faculty, students, and all participants. I am very grateful to Professor Shine for giving me an opportunity to inaugurate this national webinar, Sanskrit, Indian Independence and Nutana Shiksha Paddhati, National Education Policy 2020. It is my fortune to be amidst all Vidvans. As the adage goes, Swadeshe Pujyate Raja, Vidvan Sarvatra Pujyate. And all Vidvans are here. And Kerala has produced a lot of Vidvans. And when we remember Kerala, we need to remember the contribution of great saints and philosophers and social reformers such as Adi Shankaracharya, Sri Narayan Guru, etc. Adi Shankaracharya works in Sanskrit, discusses the unity of Atman and Nirguna Brahman. Similarly, the famous saying of Sri Narayan Guru, which is very much relevant to the present situation or connected to the national education policy, Narayan Guru's important one of the saying is gain freedom through education. At the age of 21, Sri Narayan Guru went to the Central Travancore to learn from Raman Pillai, a Sanskrit scholar who taught him Vedas, Upanishad. When we talk about Narayan Guru, one is forced to use the superlatives and compare him with the galaxy of leaders in India and globally. Sri Narayan Guru overturned the entire social system of Kerala. But we should remember that without creating any animosity and reverse oppression. Narayan Guru was a radical reformer and he gave a clarion call which is again relevant to the present system. He said then, we have to be self-reliant and the only way for improvement is the oppressed class needs to get educated. On the similar lines of what Sri Narayan Guru said, the national education policy is going to transform the India into Atmanirbhar Bharata through the aspiring young minds. NEP, Nutana Shiksha Paddhati, is basically built on the Indian premise with indigenous thinking and action process. As Professor Madhavanji has beautifully explained, how the beautiful tree, Manohara Vruksham, how it was cut by the Britishers, and later how it was cut after the independence. He has elaborately given the importance and significance of Indian value system. So also, national education policy is the first education policy of the 21st century. And it is addressing many growing developmental imperatives of our country. This policy proposes the revision and revamping of all aspects of the education structure, including the regulation and governance, to create a new system that is aligned with the aspirational goals of 21st century education, which is the agenda for sustainable development. Now, all of us know that if we see the Ashoka Chakra inscription, there it is very clearly written Satyameva Jayate. The rich heritage of ancient and eternal Indian knowledge and thought has been guiding light for this policy. The pursuit of knowledge, that is jnana, wisdom, that is pragya, and truth, that is satya, was always considered in Indian thought and philosophy as the highest human goal. The aim of education in ancient India, as again explained by Professor Madhavanji, was not just the acquisition of knowledge as preparation for life in the world or life beyond schooling, but for the complete realization and liberalization of the self. World-class institutions of ancient India, such as Takshashila, Nalanda, Vikramshila, Vallabhi, set the highest standards of multidisciplinary teaching and research and hosted scholars and students from across backgrounds and countries. The Indian education system produced great scholars such as Charaka, Sushruta, Aryabhata, Varahamitra, Bhaskaracharya, Brahmagupta, Chanakya, Chakrapani Datta, Madhava Panani, Patanjali, Nagarjuna, Gautama, Pingala, Sankaradeva, Maitreyi, Gargi, and Tiruvallur, among numerous others who made seminal contribution to the world knowledge in diverse fields such as mathematics, astronomy, metallurgy, medical science, civil engineering, surgery, architecture, shipbuilding, navigation, yoga, fine arts, chess, and more. Indian culture and philosophy have had a strong influence on the world. These rich legacies to world heritage must not only be nurtured and preserved for posterity, but also researched, enhanced, and put to new uses through our education system. The implementation of the previous policies on education has focused largely on issues of access and equity. The unfinished agenda of the National Policy of Education in 1986, modified in 1992, is appropriately dealt with this in this policy. a major development since the last policy of 1986/92 has been the Right to Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act of 2009. Now there is a lot of discussion going on this particular aspect, and it is a welcome feature that indeed with the quickly changing employment landscape and the global ecosystem, it is becoming increasingly critical. And this national education policy has given significant importance to one important thing is multilingualism and the power of language. The importance, relevance, and the beauty of classical languages and literature of India also cannot be overlooked. Sanskrit, while also an important modern language mentioned in the 8th schedule of the Constitution, if we go through the Constitution as per Article 343 and Chapter 17, and also Article 351 and the 8th schedule, which says that we should propagate Devanagari script. And this Devanagari script, if we compare with the other languages, any Indian language, you can see that ranging from 40 to 80% of the vocabulary are from this Devanagari Sanskrit language. And Sanskrit, which is also an important modern language today, which I said that in the 8th schedule, India possesses a classical literature that is greater than the, if we put together Greek and Latin, the Sanskrit language has vast treasure. And generally, again, it is said that Sanskrit is only a language. But we say that Sanskrit is a way of life. Because Sanskrit encompasses mathematics, philosophy, grammar, music, politics, medicine, architecture, metallurgy, drama, poetry, storytelling, and more known as Sanskrit knowledge system, written by people of various religions as well as non-religious people and by people from all walks of life and wide range of socio-economic backgrounds over thousands of years. Sanskrit hence will be offered. This is very clearly written in the National Education Policy, stating that Sanskrit will be offered at all levels of school and in higher education as an important enriching option for the students, including as an option in the three-language formula. This is to be understood. It is part of the three-language formula and it will be taught in ways that are interesting and experiential as well as contemporarily relevant, including through the use of Sanskrit knowledge system. Now, Samskrita Bharati has made Sulabha Sanskritam. You can learn like Sanskrit in 21 days. Samskrita Sambhashanam Shibiram, Vadatu Samskritam. Like this, it is also mentioned in the education policy that Sanskrit textbooks at the fundamental and middle school level may be written. I will emphasize this. Sanskrit textbooks at the fundamental and middle school level may be written in simple standard Sanskrit to teach Sanskrit through Sanskrit study materials which are truly enjoyable. So, Vidvat Parishad, Sanskrit Bharati have got a great responsibility. The people who are well versed in Sanskrit, they need to remove this mindset of the people that it is difficult to learn. How it can be made simple, how it can be made sulabham, how it can be made very easy to understand, and how Sanskrit is available in all forms of knowledge, maybe in the modern system also. You are all aware the research done by NASA. NASA has carried out research for almost 20 years. And they were looking at a language which will help to store the knowledge storage system, and the application of artificial language. So now when you go to Google, you can see that if you put the word Sanskrit and which is the best, NASA and artificial language, you will get Sanskrit as the best language for storage also. And the Journal of Artificial Language and Robots, there they have very clearly mentioned that if somebody has to work on artificial intelligence, they need to learn Sanskrit. Now, when NASA has told this, there is a debate now. How Sanskrit can be made more effective for the computer system also. So also in the national education policy, there is a specific point of promotion of Indian languages, arts and culture. Due to its vast and significant contribution and literature across genres and subjects, its cultural significance and scientific nature, rather than being restricted to single stream, Samskrita Pathashala. This is again a very important recommendation all of us should understand, those who are Sanskrit lovers. Sanskrit Pathshalas and universities need to be mainstreamed. Sanskrit will be mainstreamed with strong offerings in school, including as one of the language options in the 3-language formula. As in higher education also, what is happening there are separate Sanskrit universities, Sanskrit Pathshalas. Just like Professor Shine is just only working in a Sanskrit Pathshala, there are several Sanskrit Pathshalas all over the country, but they are in isolation. But to make it more interesting and innovative ways, it needs to get connected to the contemporary and relevant subjects such as mathematics, astronomy, philosophy, linguistics, dramatics, and yoga. Thus, again, this is in consonance with the rest of the policy. Sanskrit universities too will move towards becoming large multidisciplinary institutions of higher learning. That is on 2 aspects I have emphasized. One is Sanskrit will be part of the 3rd language, and Sanskrit Pathshalas and Sanskrit universities will no longer remain as a monoculture, separate Pathshalas, but they will be mainstreamed with multidisciplinary approach. Departments of Sanskrit that conduct teaching and outstanding interdisciplinary research on Sanskrit and Sanskrit knowledge systems will be established, strengthened across the new multidisciplinary higher education system. Sanskrit will become a natural part of holistic multidisciplinary higher education system. If a student chooses to be a Sanskrit teacher, which is required in large number, they need to be given professional Sanskrit methodology and understanding of conversation and transaction in Sanskrit. So in the mission mode, there is also thinking in the national education policy that 4-year integrated multidisciplinary dual degree in education and Sanskrit will also be provided. Sanskrit and all languages, institutes and departments across the country will be significantly strengthened, as told in the presidential speech, that Sanskrit needs to be strengthened with adequate training, giving it to large new batches of students. The aspiring minds of this country wants to understand what is in the manuscript, what is in Veda, what is in Upanishad, what does Ramayana stand for, what is Mahabharata, what is Bhagavad Gita, the indigenous technology. And with these aspiring minds, new education policy, which is holistic. Again, Madhavanji in his speech, he said that henceforth it will not be human resource development, but it will be Shiksha Mantralaya. That means the new education policy is knitting the entire education from early childhood care to the doctoral studies. So it is a Shiksha Mantralaya, and this Shiksha Mantralaya with emphasis of indigenous, Indian thinking, Indian values, which need to be inherited in the aspiring minds to build a Atmanirbhar Bharat. For that, people who are gathered here, participating here, all of us know that Sanskritam Madhuram Asti, and this Madhura Sanskritam need to reach the common man, common people, and with the effort of Samskrita Bharati, which it is doing very widely from the last 2-3 decades, to reach out the people, to remove the apprehensions, to remove the inhibitions that it is difficult, and try to propagate the Indian values and the modern knowledge through Sanskrit, not with the knowledge, but with the way of life. Vande Samskrita Mataram, Lokahitam Mama Karaniyam. Namaskaram.